Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's January 31st. This will be our chart lesson for today, and I'm going to go through this really quickly. I've already done the chart lesson, and there was no sound again today. I got to looking, and I didn't turn on my in my haste to make it quick today and try to get through this thing. I need to be out of here pretty quickly. I didn't turn my headphones on, so that was the problem today. And I apologize, but I'm going to move through this quickly. But you can see a very bullish day. There's two legs up on the intraday chart, uh, sandwiched in between some sideways stuff. So here it is, very bullish. Looks like we're probably going to continue to push higher here. We could turn back down. I mean, we've been doing a lot of sideways, congested stuff, so we may just continue to go sideways up here. We'll see, but we'll sell off and then rally and then sell off. It's like we get these burst up and then go sideways or whatever, and that might continue. We're definitely getting already back into overbought territory up here, and that usually will lead to a correction pretty quickly like it did right here before we went up again. So we'll see what happens, but let's flip over to the other chart, and again, I'm going to move through them pretty quickly on this one. And here's our 2000 tick chart. You can clearly see there was two legs up, and look how we met that almost to the tick, and it sold off right before 2:30. Some buying came in and it rallied up again. But you can see we kind of shoot up, go sideways, shoot up, go side. You get these bursts of buying. Somebody's buying in there, and then the buying dries up and it goes sideways, and then the buying comes back again. And I mean, they can't just keep buying or it just goes to the moon. So they'll take little breaks in there and take little bites at a time. It's probably some big uh, some big institutions that are buying up there. Is that a sign that maybe we're going higher? I don't know. Anything can still happen here, but somebody's buying to make these strong bursts up like that. But you can see we shot up here. There's a spiking channel here. Then we went sideways, and there's another spiking channel here. And you could have played this. It's mostly sideways here, but you could have played the green channel as well. So I draw it out both ways. It's a lot of sideways because you can see the EMA still pointing up. So maybe you drew your green channel anyway, and eventually there's the bigger blue channel. So, but let's go back here and start with the trades. This area was there was a 9 o'clock news here, so maybe you're out a few minutes before 9. I marked a couple of trades there. It's not a big, this consumer confidence is not a big news mover usually, but the way the economy's been lately, you got to pay attention to it. But notice, this is what I want you to notice. Look at this range here. Look how consistent the highs are. Look how consistent the lows are. That's what you want to see on a range, and it makes, I mean, it's like taking, I mean, it's like a sure thing almost when it's this clear and this easy to read. And we don't see many of these. We used to see a lot of ranges like this, but not like lately. They're not this consistent. So take advantage of one like this. But anyway, you got this spiking channel here. Notice the new low. Notice we broke higher. We turned down here, broke higher and turned down. So we made a lower high right there. So you got a new count. You get a first entry, second entry. So that's a failure. First break of the trend channel line. Maybe you go long there. I like it. It's not. It's a little aggressive. But if you just wait a few minutes, you get a clear second entry here with a clear signal bar, and you'll probably get another leg up similar to that one. And there it is, a perfect measured move. And so I like that one, just trying to get that next leg up. And then you see we start working, instead of working down, we just work sideways, which tells you the market's still pretty strong, or we should have reversed and started trading down. So if we break out higher, we're probably going to make another leg up. And I talked about that in our midday chart. But notice we come back here. We make this double bottom. There is a break of this yellow channel or khaki and a new low, and then you make this higher low, and you got a little room. You're not too worried about an EMA and sideways. Of course, this doesn't look quite that sideways yet, but it's a double bottom, so you have to go ahead and draw it just in case, and you see when we get back up there, it's valid. But So the midline is what you're more worried about than you are the EMA when you're going sideways. And this is an uptrend. This is the first time we got below the EMA, so the odds are we'll make another push up still. And I like that one. This is just all too sideways. Comes back. Now you got a triple test down here, and there's two legs down to that low right there as well. And so I like that just to buy that triple test. There's plenty of room back to the EMA here. Again, you're not too worried about that now. You're more worried about this midline. And then you come back and make a higher low. So maybe you even take that one, and it's the first break of that channel. So you might even take that one. It's a little more aggressive. But you see we head right back to the top. And you really make a double top up here, and then you get a first entry, second entry. So you got a failed second entry long if it breaks below that, and you got a first entry, second entry. And look how, and you make a lower high here as well. I like that one, and this would be a great one to try to ride all the way back down. And then what does it do? It bounces down here again. I did mark this one green because it's inside the blue, still inside this channel. But when it breaks lower and traps everybody and goes higher there with that much room to go back to the midline and the EMA, take that trade, and hopefully you will go all the way to the top. And you can see we do pull back again, so you don't get a huge runner, but where does it go? Straight to the top again. Now mark this one green. You do have a break of the green channel and a new high, but we didn't quite get back up there. So it could break lower and push higher one more time, but being that far away from the EMA and really being almost a triple test with a big bearish bar, I like that just to try to get a scalp out of it. And then when it breaks higher and fails and turns down, I don't think I'd go short way down here, but you might trade this on the engulfing bar. Again, it's aggressive, but it runs down here and you get this failed break lower, which that's the first time we've got below that. So almost certainly it's going to fail. You're better off to wait on the higher low, but I still like going long there if you want to be a little aggressive. It's a second entry too. There's clearly by the counts. And then but the higher low is probably the better one. So I like going long there. Again, I marked it green just because it's, you'd rather see like a second entry or something like that. But you're not going to get it on these reversals off the lows and highs. And most likely we're going higher. And they probably trapped a bunch of shorts down here. So, and you can see how it rockets up that it acted kind of as a trap. So, I mean, you could almost argue for that to be blue. I didn't mark it blue, but it's close enough. I'll change it. I really like that trade. I really like this one because these often turn out to be important lows, and you can see for the day that turns out to be the low for the rest of the day. So it does. The failed breakout becomes an important low. And then you see another one right here. You're working along. And this is where it gets a little interesting here because we got outside the highs here. And even though we couldn't go higher, we still are not going lower until you get that failed breakout. And they'll let it fail out one side, and then they'll let it fail out the other, and one of them they'll trap people. And they do that a lot to try to take it higher. When they couldn't get it to go higher here, they let it fail out the other side, and then they'll trap everybody and run it up, and all those people exiting will get you on through there. And so I love to buy these. I marked it green. It's two legs down too, so by the count, it's a second entry. There's plenty of room back to this high in case it holds and you go lower again. But I like going long there because if you're right, you'll probably get your scalping. But if you're right on the failure and they get it out the other side, it's probably going to go much higher. And you can see that ends up being another important low for the day. And here's the same thing. We just get back in a range, but notice how your highs are not consistent. So there is a trend working up here. So you could have played this one either way. I played it off this trend line. My trend line's moved a little bit here. It should be right along this low here, and it catches both of these as well. But I think I talked about this trade, right? First entry, and then it's a failed second entry short, and it's a second entry long when it broke higher right there. I like that one. Plenty of room to these highs. And you can see we're steadily working higher, but we're also starting to work sideways. So you could have played this range or whatever. You might have looked at this as a triple test. You do get a break and new low. I didn't mark it. I would wanted a higher low here first, but you could argue for that one. But when you get the failure here right off the trend line, so you tried to go lower 3 times, it's like a triple test. Nice bullish bar. I like going long there. You should at least be headed back to here, and since we just broke out up there, they may push it higher. A lot of times you can look for a triple test here to go higher, but that's too congested. I don't like it. I'm afraid of that one. It ends up working, but during real time, I didn't like it at all. You could get trapped there. But you can see it runs along and you get another failure, and it's another second entry. And every time that's just been a chance to get long at the low for that point of the day, and there it is again. There's a higher low here, but no good. There's a failure here, but you can't go long into those highs. Runs up, comes back off the highs. First entry, second entry. There's a second entry long right there, right at the key entry point along that blue cyan channel. Go long there. Unfortunately, I really thought that one would take off. It didn't. It comes back again, and it ends up going higher, but you probably wouldn't have got a runner on that. And then it turns down off the high, and you get a break here. It comes back to this trend line, but I don't see anything there I like, and that's too close to 230, and that kind of takes you into 230. So, I mean, what you see here is you get these burst up, and then you go sideways, and then you get a burst up, and you go sideways, and you get a burst up. I mean, you can see that even on the bigger picture. Burst up, sideways. Burst up, sideways. Burst up. And so there's some buying in coming in spurts here. And a lot of times that's institutional buyers. And because they can't buy it all at once, so they come in little, they buy small, they're larger bites than we take, but they're smaller bites for them because they can't come in and buy 10,000 shares at one time or they'll drive the price sky high. So they come in and they buy a few thousand here, a few thousand there. And I don't know how many. I'm just throwing numbers out there to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Maybe they're buying 100,000 shares and they come in and buy 10,000 at a time for 2 or 3 minutes. And then they take a break and then they come back and buy another 10,000 shares. And again, when it starts getting to these certain price levels, and because they can't just come in and buy it all at once. A lot of times that's what will cause these spurts like this. It looks like somebody came in and did some buying early this morning or late this afternoon just into the close. So anyway, there it is. And I know this is really quick and I went through those really fast, but they're pretty straightforward. Really good trading day, honestly, especially right up until 10 o'clock or so. You could have found all your trades in this range. Real simple, real easy. You might have got a runner on a couple of them, and you wouldn't even have to trade this up here today because this is as good. This is as straightforward and easy as a range you're ever going to get to trade. This is what you want to see when you trade a range. You want to see it bouncing right here every time, and you want to see it turning down right here every time, just like it did until you got here and it didn't turn down. It broke a little higher, and it couldn't sell off. So then you got to think we're probably going to break out. You already had to be thinking because we traded up into this that it'll probably eventually attempt another leg up, and that's what it did. So really straightforward trading up until right in here, and then it's still not that difficult of trading. There's still a few decent trades in there, but not as simple. When you see a range like this and it bounces every time right here and it turns down every time right here, that's a gift. I mean, that's as easy as trading as you can get. You just can't be afraid of it. What happens is people are afraid. I'm afraid I'm just wait for the good signal bar and buy it, or wait for the good signal bar and sell it at the right place. And it's just almost a gimme. Again, we haven't seen many ranges like this lately. Our ranges have been turning at all different places up and down, and it makes it real hard then. But this is what I'm always talking about an easy one where it turns down at the same place every time and turns up at the same place until it doesn't. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. we'll be back again and do it tomorrow. Hope you had a good trading day. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.